He leans back from his desk, rubs the back of his neck, the stress takes effect. Grips the bridge of his nose, squints while he's showing emotion he normally won't. At 56, he reevaluates, possibly regretting some decisions that he's made. Black is turning gray, patches of his age, reflecting from the glasses, a passive every page. Passionately Dave reads, reading on occasion, dreaming of the day when he could do the same thing. He's always wanted to write, that's all he's wanted in life. With 2 daughters, a son, and a remarkable wife, he's in a bond he has to provide. A family is relying on him merely to survive. His father died at 56, so he's well aware how vital a father figure is, how big of a responsibility it is to be a good husband and care for your kids. Never miss an event, helping them with homework, discipline to prevent things when they're older. His only son is only 21, and focus as a poet has only just begun. Papa isn't dumb, he understands what this means. His dream is my dream is his dream.
I close my eyes and I can see his dream. The sacrifices he made for me. Put it aside for his family. Yeah, so I'ma keep it alive. Yeah.
And so he targeted to be the dream guardian, guarding it from anything and anyone who's harming it. But in his heart he knows the hardest thing about it is giving up on his dream to be all about his kids. As he kisses the lips of the missus for 24 years, going on the 25th, he thinks to himself, this alone is a wealth that's greater than what's bought and is sold on the shelf. Sometimes a dream is all that we have to continue to dream. Cause once it is lost amongst other thoughts, then what really are we? What are we?
I close my eyes and I can see his dream. The sacrifices he made for me. Put it aside for his family. Yeah, so I'ma keep it alive. Yeah.
So he sits back at his desk, cracking his knuckles and back of his neck, faxing a paper displaying his name on another application, explaining the main things they should know, but the things that they don't are the things that distinguish him as an adult. And over the phone he can never expose the role that he chose, the role in his home. And at home he's a leader, a father, he'll prove it by using his son and his daughters. In their life he'll be playing the part of the one who inspires, the one we admire. His only son is only 21, and focus as a poet has only just begun. Papa isn't dumb, he understands what this means. His dream is my dream is his dream.
I close my eyes and I can see his dream. The sacrifices he made for me. Put it aside for his family. Yeah, so I'ma keep it alive. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Woo! And we are back. For those of you guys who want to know what that was actually Asher Roth off the Sleep in the Bread Owl album. The song is called His Dream. And fathers. Shit. Ooh. The good thing is everybody on tonight's episode is a father. So
yes, sir.
The topic is definitely for us in multiple ways. One of the biggest ones is me. I have 100% direct contact in my daughter's lives every single day. Like, even to the point before us doing tonight's episode, I literally took my oldest to the doctor to go ahead and get a quick emergency checkout because she has a fever. Okay. Cal has too many kids. Some he actually gave birth to by impregnating the young woman. The other one came as part of the conjointness.
Yes.
I don't judge him, but I also commend him for not only being a dad and a stepdad. But tonight's episode, unfortunately, hits home for Jacob. If you've listened to any past episodes of The Breakdown, Jacob has expressed on numerous occasions that his child's mother has played the role of keeping his kid from him. Now, Jacob, are you comfortable with tonight's episode before we dive into it?
Did we lose him?
Mr. Marshall, are you still here? He's probably stepped away to answer, realizing it.
I'm sorry. I had.
Thank God for editing, because I'll cut all this quietness out. But, so
I muted myself. No, but I'm an open book, man. Y'all already know. If you listen to the show, my shows, I lay it all out on the table. I ain't got a problem with it. I'm down.
Damn, nigga.
Okay.
When we were talking to you, you wasn't there. Now we talking.
Right.
Well, I'm sorry. I had a conversation going on in the background, so I had to mute myself. I'm not like a certain one.
Gotcha.
That was a mistake. He actually hit me up and said he made a mistake because he thought he muted himself. But anyway.
You know what?
But no, back to the topic.
Oh, I wasn't talking about nobody here. Go ahead. Go.
Yeah, let's go. Starting with Cal. What made you come up with tonight's topic?
Well, what made me come up with tonight's topic, honestly, was Mother's Day has passed, has came and went. Father's Day is coming up. And honestly, in the industry we in, we're always heavy on our social media. And I've been paying attention to the social media these last couple of months with Mother's Day approaching. And then seeing the comments from Mother's Day approaching and then going towards into Father's Day coming. And it's so much negativity towards fathers even on Mother's Day. Even with Mother's, our day's not even here yet. And even with Mother's Day, it's so much negativity and bitterness and anger. And Father's Day not even here yet. But even around your day, Mother's Day, it's just so many jabs and knives and punches thrown at fathers. So I was like, I just felt the need, with the platform that we have, talking to millions and millions of people, we have fun on the show. We talk about a lot of, craziness and wildness, but just also want to, like to use our platform to talk about things that's real. And I just felt the need, us brothers of the cave, we need to really address this because it's sad. It's really sad that because y'all didn't work out on a personal level and the relationship didn't work out for whatever reason it is, whoever fault it is, his fault, your fault, their fault, mama fault, daddy fault, whoever fault it is, it should never be the fault of that child. A child should never have to suffer, and it's just sad to see so many women out there using children as a pawn for whatever reason they doing it for. It's sad. And I'm like, we had to talk about this and address this.
Okay, and I definitely agree with you in regards to that. Speaking of social media and things that are so negative towards us men, I seen a post at least maybe about 3 or 4 times this week. And the post went as far as they're saying we should cancel Father's Day because it's rude and unfair to all the same-sex and single mothers.
Wow.
Now,
see?
I'm sorry.
Wow. That's crazy.
I feel like that's not right because if you're sitting here, and it was a feminist. It was definitely a feminist situation because they're usually the ones that create all this unnecessary backlash by making these statements. By saying something like that, do you feel that we have reached a point in life where we need to just get rid of honoring direct parents like mothers and fathers, since we do live in a society where the one who raised you could be grandma, or it can be your auntie, or it can be a teacher who took you in? Do you feel like specific day relationships or honorings should go away? Because we honor Father's Day, but we don't never really honor things like Grandparents' Day, which is a legitimate thing, or Sibling Day. I mean, we may post photos of our siblings on social media, but we don't actually really go out here and do legitimate honoring of our other family members. So do you think this is something we should walk away from and just like, you know what, just cut out parenting let's cut out all of this altogether?
Nah, not at all. I don't think so at all. That's like saying okay, because we have these feminists that have a problem with it, or people in general have a problem with it, we should stop honoring our mother or stop honoring our father. If it wasn't for our mother or our father, we wouldn't be the people that we are. And why not honor them? Okay, we don't pay attention to the sibling day or the grandparents' day. Okay, I get that, but I don't feel you should never stop. You should never stop honoring your mother or your father for the things that they do for you. I mean, it's just one particular day that has that. Okay, this is Mother's Day, Father's Day. It's all about them. But if you got a mother that's busting her ass, doing her thing for you, and then that one day is her day for you to put on that pedestal, why not? If you got a father that do his thing for you, busting his ass, and that one day is for you to really recognize him and put him on that platform, why not? I mean, like, taking away things like that, it ain't doing nothing but taking this society in a way that we don't necessarily need to go and taking it somewhere else or whatever. It's like it's just another excuse. I mean, because a lot of these, I'm all for women's rights. I'm all for all that. I get all that. I have 2 daughters I'm raising myself. I get that. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, some of these feminists are bitter ass women who didn't work out in a relationship or can't find a man or can't, or you know what I'm saying, can't get that part of their life together, or went through trials and tribulations with that, and now they just are mad at all kinds of men. Like, come on, get over it, man. Like, it's just, I don't know. I just feel like, it really should not be taken away because of that. Like, because those be the same. Some of those women be the same women.
Let's back some things up here for me. All right. Last night, or should I say last episode of The Breakdown,
okay.
The topic of the Breakdown episode show itself was based around the blame game, okay? And usually round about the month between Mother's Day and Father's Day, it's a lot of finger pointing. It's a lot of blaming. It's a lot of negativity thrown across the table when it's 2-parent households, when it's 2 households. Okay, we put it like that. Usually if the man and the woman didn't work out, regardless of whatever the ending reason is, there is always some animosity during this time frame. Okay? Not specifically blaming, is it the man's fault or is it the woman's fault? What do you think we as people need to do to minimize the blame game during this time frame? Because to me personally, the time frame between Mother's Day and Father's Day is probably the most trying time as a kid. Okay, because if you spend more time with one parent than you do with the other parent, you either feel obligated to have to give the parent you spend more time with a better gift, or you mentally have this stigma of not wanting anything for the other parent. What do you think? What would you guys tell the parents that are in this position where they're pulling their kids in 2 different directions during this time frame to stop doing this? Jacob,
I'm
we'll
gonna be
start with
honest.
you
It
because
kind of
you're technically in that position.
it really depends on the situation, though, because you look at the situations a little different. Now, I know of a situation where the father cannot be there, not because he has physical limitations or he's not able to do it or anything. He's literally been court ordered not to be around the child because he's done something either to harm the child or whatever the case may be. So it's court ordered that he cannot be there. And at the same time, at the same time, he don't want to be there. It's not like, oh, I'm fighting because I want to be in my child's life. He doesn't want to be there at all. Now, this situation went on for a while. It went on for a while. The court finally allowed him to be in those children's life. By the time that he was allowed to be there, the kids didn't want him there because of the situation why he couldn't be there. And the problem is a lot of guys that, I ain't going to say us, I just said a lot of guys that cause physical harm or have this abusive relationships and they can't be in this child's life seem to forget the fact that your kids are watching what you're doing. And it's a problem because when they get older, they remember that stuff, and then they bring it back up, and then you're upset because, oh, well, they just threw that in my face. That was how many years ago? Blah, 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 woo, woo, woo. That's a problem, Doc.
All right.
That's what they see you as now.
All right. Now, before we go any further, let's back up a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Technically, even though that is definitely something we need to dive into, if not tonight, its own individual show. No. It's you didn't go there too soon. It's definitely a topic that we eventually need to touch upon. That particular situation, I wouldn't include in this conversation simply because that father put himself in that position. Okay, it's you don't deserve to be in a person's situation because if you were the kid, okay, and this is what I tell a lot of fathers who tend to be a little bit aggressive with physical discipline before verbal or punishment is if that was you in that situation and this is what you opted to do, how would you as the kid feel if all of a sudden you came home and physical abuse was the answer your father always did? And a lot of men, I come to find out, their answer is, that is what my dad did. So because that's all they know, they follow that pattern. Yeah. So at that point in time, if you've gotten to the point where the courts have to say you can't be around your kid, by definition, this whole conversation doesn't mean anything to you because you did, you did that. Now I get it. Yes, here we are 15 years later. They're an adult now, and you want to reach out to them to correct your wrongs or get atonement for the evil that you instilled in this person's life. But if they won't accept it, that's on you. Okay, that is on you. My situation, my conversation for today is these parents. Okay, I have to say these parents because I'm putting the blame on both the mom and the father. Okay, these parents are, number one, treating their kids like accessories. You know, the kid was never born or never created with the intentions of being a complete family. The kid was a result of you as a man not wanting to put a condom on because it's right, or you as a woman wanting a kid because this is what you're supposed to do at this age because everybody else at this age is having kids, or you love him, you blindly love him, so you don't care about the consequences because you guys will always be together, and you're only like 19. Like, it doesn't work like that. I blame Disney for that. They always perpetuate this whole entire you stay with your high school sweetheart for the rest of your life. Like,
regardless.
I hate when they do that. It's not true. So fictitious.
But
some people do it, but it's not everyday life. What advice would you give those two people who they are parenting, they are working, they're doing the best they can, but they create animosity at this time of the year around their kids because on Mother's Day, Jenny got an expensive gift. But on Father's Day, which we'll get into that in a minute too, guys, because that's another thing that irritates me. Jenny gets a bracelet with panda charms all over it, and each one has something special on the bracelet to signify different moments in the life of you and your mom. Meanwhile, Dad gets a tie and a pair of socks.
Word.
You know? Like, what do we do to tell these parents to like, okay, don't get jealous over that. Keep loving your kids like you should be, and life goes on.
I mean, if you're an adult, and I'm talking mental, not physical. If you're an adult, you will look at stuff a little differently. I'm gonna be honest with you. The best gift that I ever got on Father's Day, and I'm in that category. Getting ties and everything. The best gift that I use, if I get anything, is when my daughter sends me something and it's made by hand, literally her hands. Like, it could be a card, something they did at school. It, for some reason, that just trips me out because
it's from the heart.
I know she put her personal energy in it, correct. It's from the heart. She put her personal energy in to make something for me. Just to be thought of is like huge for me. So
let me throw a quick monkey wrench to fuck up your mentality. What if you found out that your daughter paid somebody at school to make that for you?
Really?
They do it.
I mean, even if that happens, it's just the thought of her doing it, though. It's completely different. Like, it's different for me because in my situation, everybody know my situation is I'm not around my daughter like that. I get to see her in the last, I say that the first time I seen her was last year in 14 years. It wasn't my fault. I'll say it was my fault. I'll say I'm to blame for doing that. I got taken out of the picture, and my daughter got bounced around. And so me trying to find her.
There you go, Jacob. You faded away on me, bruh.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
like you were getting deep, and then you just faded out.
Well, she got bounced around on me, and my issue was trying to find her. Not that I did anything wrong on my end as far as you know, I just got pushed out the picture. And then the problem I have, and this is the issue with me personally, is when that man is doing the best that he can, he's making phone calls, he's trying to get in touch, and your child is being told something completely opposite of what's really going on.
Right.
And they are at the age that they're gullible, so they're going to listen to the parent that's there or the people that's around them. Okay, well, this is that, and this. And I've even been told, she literally told me, you ain't tried to call me. You ain't even been in touch with me. Now, was those phone calls or, you know, the call log deleted? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But at the same time, I know I'm making an effort to be there, and I'm not being allowed to. Now, I know for a fact because I've seen it before with other situations. When they get older, it's looked at differently because they want answers. So they'll come to you and be like, yo, well, what's going on? What's the situation? What actually happened?
Mm-hmm.
I had a conversation like that. My conversation didn't go well because I had a mother there and at the time her girlfriend. And they had told my daughter all kind of stuff. And everything that came out of my mouth was a lie to them. I got laughed at, dude. Which is crazy. Like, yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, that's what you're saying now. It sounds good. Da-da-da-da-da. When I know for a fact I was doing what I needed to do to try to be a part of that situation. But I mean, and I'm sure there's a lot of guys and women that are going through the same thing. They're going through the same thing, and it's upside and downside to that situation. So, I like I said, if they're adults about it, which sometimes in these type of situations, you find out one side either can't be an adult about it, or they just won't.
Okay.
Yeah, they just right.
So let's bring everything up to speed real quick. So basically what you're saying is, because we're telling the tale from the man side of the coin. So for those guys, for those ladies that are listening, we're not directly female bashing. No, I'm just putting a disclaimer out there. We're not female bashing. So for you young ladies out here who don't have this issue, meaning that you have communication with the father doesn't want to be there, or for those young ladies who are in a happy relationship and the dad handles his business, or for those young ladies who you have a mutual agreement with the father and father agreed upon a situation where he will not be a part of the child's life because of what you've opted for in regards to the agreement. This conversation is not about you. This is not one of those conversations where you need to feel like you need to chime in to speak on this doesn't pertain to you. Okay?
And
the reason why I have to put this out there, because it's always those particular females who the emails and the comments come from. I listened to last week's episode, and I don't have that issue with my baby daddy. Then that episode was not for you.
You know? Please. You see? You only see the bullshit when you blind to the light.
How you expect me not to eat you when I was starving, you ain't feed me? And now nigga fed up. Yeah. Got 2 kids and plus I'm broke. We been sleeping on the floor and all you say is keep your head
Let's
up.
talk about it.
Fed up. 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 Said I know by the time I doing to the fear and the sun. Said I know by the time I'm on the low. Feeling like I gotta get it and I get it, I want some more. I got some children, I want some more, but right now I can't afford it. Selling the bus at the pub and beat it till they call in the fall. Just trying to keep on the cable. I'm just trying to keep it stable. I'm just trying to feed my babies. Ain't nobody did me no favor. Bills due, rent late, lights out, can't see any bitch. Full all that friendship and friendships and last year. Ain't nobody been real by myself. I did it on my own, I ain't asking for no help. I been in and out of home, sleeping on floor for real. And my pride won't let me ask for help. Cause lately I've been hard, no love. How you expect me not to eat you when I was starving, you ain't feed me? And now nigga fed up. Yeah. Got 2 kids and plus I'm broke. We been sleeping on the floor and all you say is keep your head up. I'm fed up. Fed up. Fed up. Fed up. Fed up. Fed up. Said I know by the time I doing to the fair come. They cut out the light with no warning. A vision notice in the morning. I had a baby sitting warm me. She was pregnant but got an abortion. Everything I ever loved I took from me. All you see is probably ain't no love when you look at me. I swear the niggas ain't shit. How you say you love a nigga you don't even like my Instagram pic? Every day I hustle get a script on all and they ain't gave a nigga shit. They took my brother from me. They took my cousin from me. They took the love out of me. I swear I believe them and they took the fuck out of me. The devil ever trying to play me and I'm praying I don't lose. Popping medication, drinking booze. Writing suicide notes while I'm making music. Lord, don't let me lose. How you expect me not to eat you when I was starving, you ain't feed me? And now nigga fed up. Yeah. Got 2 kids and plus I'm broke. We been sleeping on the floor and all you say is keep your head up. I'm fed up. I'm fed up. Fed up. Fed up. Fed up. Fed up. Said I know by the time I don't until the fed come.
So, going forward, because we're now going to specifically talk about the women put forth a conscious effort to keep their child's father out of that child's life. So this is the rest of the show for that. Okay. So you got the Obamas got their Netflix show. You happy for old girl who baby daddy proposed to her, or not even baby daddy, her boyfriend proposed to her. You done with this? Y'all can go leave now. Now we talking to y'all. We talking to y'all women who consciously do that. Okay.
And let me say
Cal.
this. And let me say this.
Yes.
Wait, Tony, before you go.
Go ahead, Gator.
I'm gonna be real honest with you. Me in the situation that I'm in. And I heard of those situations that you're talking about, Tom, where mom make an effort and she makes sure that dad's going to be in their life, and these cats still don't do what they supposed to be doing. Oh, man. I'd be like, ooh,
that's
I wish.
That's a whole nother show. That might actually be the show for Father's Day.
Ooh,
whole nother show.
man.
We talking directly
Word,
to
that's a
those
fact.
mothers. We talking directly to those mothers purposefully do not let that man know he got a father, that he got a child on the way. Matter of fact, funniest thing in the world. So I just started watching Dear White People second season. And there's a situation in between the show where one of the young ladies, now she got her life laid out for her. She came from the streets of Compton, which you would never know based on her character. You only find this out in like one episode in season 1 and conversations that she had with her mom on the phone. This girl got everything going for her. She's the first, but she's basically in position to be the next Condoleezza Rice, and she's fine. So she got 2 things going for her. She ended up getting pregnant by basically the guy who can be the next Barack Obama in this particular scenario. But she went and got an abortion. It was going to derail her life. And she never told him that she was pregnant. Never told him. Let's start with you, Cal, before we dive into women who keep their kids. Do you feel that that's a situation that she should have told him, even though if her ultimate decision was to get rid of the kid? Do you feel she should have told him, I was pregnant by your kid, but due to life choices for me and you, I opted not to keep the kid?
I do feel, even if, now we all know it's your body. The women are you carry a child. Okay, understand that, take in consideration, we get it, but you didn't make that child by yourself. You know what I'm saying? You didn't make that decision by yourself not to wear protection. You wasn't in that relationship by yourself. All those conscious decisions that was made by 2 individuals, not one. So you automatically took away that man's choice, or so I never believe in taking away no one's choice. Like I don't believe in making no decisions under false, accusations or false statements, however you want to word it. I don't believe in that. So I find it very. I feel a way about a situation like that, because now whether he was with it, I'm moving too fast. Let me slow down. Basically, you didn't give that conversation a chance. You didn't give anything in that situation a chance. You was just in self mode. Get it? Okay. You got your whole, like you said, you got everything lined up. You got, your job lined up. You got your career lined up. Everything lined up. We get that. But where's the respect for that person that you laid down with, for that person you was in that relationship with, for that person you decided to not have protected sex with, knowing, what could happen? Where's the respect for that person? You took that away, and you was just focused on yourself. That's selfish. That's selfish.
Okay.
That's wrong.
Let's throw a plot twist in this, because it wouldn't be me if I didn't. Let's
Yes,
say
sir.
there's a young man that this lady laid down with. Now, it's not the case in the story, but just to further the story. Let's say that the gentleman that the young lady laid down with, took a turn for the worse. Okay.
Okay.
His career, his life, it wasn't what it was before. So at the time when we were together, he was on his P's and Q's. Okay. Since then, he dabbled in a couple of decisions, and let's say he even ends up in jail. Okay. Let's say he ends up in jail. A minimum of at least 6 years. Minimum of at least 6 years. Okay. Does she still need his permission to make that decision?
Well, see, this is the thing. I'm not saying that she need his permission. Let
me back that up. Should she have spoke to him about whatever decision she was going to make and got his input?
Yes, I still think she should, because the same way his life took another direction because of decisions he made, her telling him about a child that they about to bring into this world could turn his life around and put him back on track. I know a lot of brothers that was in the streets doing all types of craziness and dumbness, and I mean, myself included. Before I had my daughters, I was in them streets. I was doing the same shit my boys was doing. I was there, places where they was at. I was young. I was living life. But the moment I found out my kid's mother was pregnant and we was about to have a baby, my mental automatically started to think differently. I started to move differently. Instead of being on the corner with my boys while they doing their thing, and I started thinking like, well, maybe I shouldn't be here. Maybe I need to go home. Instead of being out drinking and doing whatever, maybe I need to be home. Maybe I need to check in more. Maybe I need to change my surroundings. And it's not something that happened overnight, but piece by piece, my mental started to change. I started to move differently. I started to do different things. I stopped doing a lot of things. So, yes, because the same way, you never know what could turn a person's life around. You never know. That child could have turned it around. Her showing him the respect to tell him and show that she's a different type of woman, that could have made something click in his head and turn things around. You just never know. I just feel it's not right to not tell a person something like that.
Okay.
All
right, next question. Staying on the same theme. What if he made the decision to keep the kid? So since his argument was good, he's only going to be locked down for 5 to 6 years. She got nice work with her family, so they're going to help her out in them early years so she can still get everything. He gets out, and he's still a dumbass. He can't get prison out of his head, and he can't get streets out of his life. Everything he said he was going to stop doing, less than 3 months of being out, he kind of went back to doing it. Should she still give him opportunities to get his life right?
To a limit. I'm not saying give him opportunities to the point where it is messing up you and your well-being, and now you have a child. You give a person enough opportunity to where you support them, and to enough support and love to where they know you got their back, and enough room to where, like, I got you, I'm gonna hold you down. You give them enough, but you don't give them enough to where it starts to affect you. So don't give more than what you can give. You give enough, and then once you get to that limit, then some hard decisions got to be made. Now it's like, okay, I gave you, and I'm just gonna throw this number out there. I gave you 2 years. I gave you 2 years, 2 strong years, and you still don't have your stuff together. You still doing the same things. You still ain't grow. You still stuck. You still doing the nonsense. You back and forth.
You still ain't shit. Is what I'm trying to say.
You still ain't shit, basically. You still ain't shit. So
that's a long time.
And that's why I said I'm just throwing that out there. I'll just use that.
But but not trying to be funny though. Women do that for real. That is actually something they do. And I think men don't know they do that. That's why we sit here and we say, when we ask certain women, like, he ain't no good, he a fuck up. Why are you still trying to make it work? Why are you still investing time? Because they're giving him that time frame to get himself right. It's there.
But see, the problem is though.
How's that man supposed to love when he don't know what it is? No example seen through his years. Just fears and love gone wrong. Apology is source why I wrote this song. Cause we can run, we can front, we can hide. When it adds up, it's a whole bunch of lies. You try, gotta stay strong. Apology is source why I wrote this song. How's that man supposed to love when he don't know what it is? Little kid, young nigga, just trying to get it big. Did what he does, cause never had a grown up to explain the things in a game called love. Told by the bros, just go for the hoes. Told by the hoes, just give me a little more. As he grows, exposed to love talked about. My mom loved dad, and that nigga walked about. So really not sold on dealing with feelings of whole body control. When they do you so cold, how was he to know that the feelings gon' come? Whether you run or duck, you still get stuck. And when his time came, he tried to adjust. But it was work, there was hurt, there was sacrifice and trust. Won't last too fast, too much. So back to the broads who was giving up the butt. How's that man supposed to love when he don't know what it is? No example seen through his years. Just fears and love gone wrong. Apology is source why I wrote this song. Cause we can run, we can front, we can hide. When it adds up, it's a whole bunch of lies. You try, gotta stay strong. Apology is source why I wrote this song. How's that man supposed to love when he don't know what it is? 6 figs, no kids, just trying to make it big. Smart as all get, cool than a mug. He chose you, then you chose love. When he rolled up, he made it quite clear. Anything that you needed, he'd have it right there. Answered hell yeah when he popped that question. Your friends still stressing on Men's Day sexing. You received blessing, couldn't understand. Didn't realize you was in his business plan. Mr. Corporate, world in his hands. Had it mapped out that a man needs spouse. Plus without a doubt had to drop a few C's. Then the people he leads see the fam they believe. Cause psychology said Adam needs Eve, while Dolomite said be everything that she needs. Then she can't leave, even when she finds you was lying on your overtime sweating chicks weaves. Is it a crime when you paved her way? When she was bout broke, did you make her pay? Her against the ropes, no ollie in his hay. You gave her a crib, some kids, a new day. Now she act like she gotta have a say. He owns your life, you got to chill, babe. How's that man supposed to love when he don't know what it is? No example seen through his years. Just fears and love gone wrong. Apology is source why I wrote this song. Cause we can run, we can front, we can hide. When it adds up, it's a whole bunch of lies. You try, gotta stay strong. Apology is source why I wrote this song. It be a fault of mine not to give a little shine to women's doing they thing for more than a little time. I see you on the grind, the product of the strain. To name what you overcame, blisters the brain. More than maintained through the misery and pain. While male counterparts at sleep to the rain. Cloud that you under, the thunder gets strong. Long time coming since God picked the bone from the rib. Now they got a bone to pick with his. Male creation that's been hating through the years. But cheers to
everyone who saw fears and laughed in their face, gaining strength in their tears. It's just sweat from the soul, stay strong, cause you inspire me all life long. I'm dead wrong every time my soul's short, so this right here is my apology of sorts. Salute.
These cats that get chances like that, they use that jump, and they feel like for the longest, and I know because I've heard them say this, that man, she ain't never gonna go nowhere, man. I'm still able to do whatever I want to do. She's just talking a whole lot of stuff right now. This and that.
Now that's a lot of that has to do. Yeah, a lot of that has to do with the fact that yes, she has a 2-year plan that she's giving him in regards to chances, but the problem, those girls are not putting their foot down during that 2 years.
Exactly.
Those girls are not saying, "Hey, look here, nigga. I love you to death. You're my world. You're my everything. But I'm not gonna put up with this BS that you're doing. I get it. You're a club promoter. I'm just gonna use them as an example. It's always happened to them. Now, matter of fact, let's back it up. You're an internet radio sensation. Okay, you're a host, so I know you have to talk to a lot of different people, and sometimes those conversations can cause people to look at you as more appealing because you stimulated their mind. Okay, I get that. Okay, but nigga, don't forget where you lay your head at. Little shit like that is what women need to say to these men to let them know, like, dog, she really is holding me down, and I need to stop. It's like a dude will tell a chick in a heartbeat, baby, you look good in that. You going out there with your girls, don't get fucked up. And that turns women on because we're telling you, go have fun. Go out there and do what you need to do, but don't do nothing that will jeopardize our relationship. These women who love their man that gives them all these chances don't do that. They sit there and they absorb it, okay? They absorb whatever they're feeling, bury it down deep, and then here you are 2 years later, I can't take this anymore. I got to leave. I'm going to stay with my mama. And then the dude is like, well, what's going on? You didn't give him an opportunity. You gave him time to fix it, but you didn't give him what needs to fix. Like, I can walk into a house that got new doors, new windows, walls been repainted. I don't know the electricity in the house. Still need to be worked on. I don't know the toilet don't flush right until tell me here are some issues. See?
I mean, I'm going to keep it that real. Tone, sound like you was talking about me, you know, and the woman talking about radio sensation. He gets right. I thought you had my phone tapped because you know what I'm saying. Like that sound like a conversation I had. That sound like a conversation I had a couple of days ago. I mean, you know, I'm just saying. Shout out.
I don't know your dating life like that, but I use that as an example because with podcasting getting so big right now, and even though we're a radio station, every show falls under that podcast umbrella with a few tweaks in regards to it. And this is something I've seen a lot of my podcast buddies have to deal with. Like, they literally have so many women coming at them like new celebrities. Like, hey, I heard your podcast the other day. You talked about such and such. That's dope. I wouldn't mind sitting down talking to you. And, you know, some chicks are just trying to get on their show. Other ones legitimately are falling in love with their conversation. Like, oh, my God, I know more about your mind that I don't care about. I care about your looks, but your mind is so wide open. You're so honest. You're so just. It's so refreshing to hear the truth come out of somebody, and you happen to look good at the same time. I mean, if I didn't have to go to work in 10 minutes, I'll give you the pussy right now. Like I get that.
Yeah.
So that's why that's an example. But continue on to the story because I know us we wander off real easily. So now this woman has gone ahead and she's dealt with this guy, and this guy he's not getting her stuff together. They have kids together now. She's sick of his shit, and she moves. Okay, she moves out on her own. Mother's Day rolls around, she don't hear from him. Okay, Father's Day rolls around, and he wants to see the kids.
Right.
She's upset because not only is he the reason she's in whatever her current living situation is, he didn't hear nothing from her on Mother's Day. Do you feel that she is justified the first year, only the first year, do you feel like she's justified that first Father's Day after all this has happened that he doesn't see his kids?
See, that's a tough one. Cause
that's why I said the first one.
Yeah, that's a tough one because I would understand it if she didn't let him see his child on the first one because of all the crap that you put her through. You put her in a certain situation to where she's raising that child. You wasn't doing shit. You wasn't doing nothing. She probably had to do certain things to get money. And I'm not saying anything like prostitution, nothing like that, ladies. I don't mean that. I'm just saying like hustle or, things in that nature, work 2 jobs, stuff like that, borrow money from family members. Like you put her in a fucked up situation, a messed up space. So I honestly, as a man that's coming from a man, I wouldn't blame her. I would not blame her for being like, yo, listen, nah, you for what? For what? Like I'm in this space because of you. And it's not that you wasn't able, it's not that you wasn't alive and well, you just chose not to. So I wouldn't even blame her. I wouldn't even blame her in that sense.
Okay. Jacob, do you think that he even had the right to ask for his kid Father's Day after all of this? Like, should he have just left it alone? Or
that's hard, man. I personally,
I'm here to ask tough questions. Questions.
In a way, looking at it from one point of view, he should have just left it alone. But sitting in that seat, you look at it differently. Like, you trying to take this away from me, and
But he took away her comfortable way of living, though. When you think about it, she was living comfortably.
But see, that's a catch-22. That's a catch-22. Because how many women have you heard say, "Nigga, I can do this without you. I don't need you."
They say that because they probably have been built. That doesn't mean. I agree with you. I hear it all the time. They all say it. Even if they don't have a way, they always will say that because they never want that guy to have that false insecurity that he controls everything.
Yeah, they
never
all
want to
say
give
that,
up
man.
that power. Yeah. Okay. She can be sleeping in a car with 3 kids, carrying a can of pinto beans, but she will tell that guy, "I don't need you."
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. Come on, we see.
And in a way, honestly, sometimes in certain situations, they are better off without that dude because he ain't doing nothing but helping cause a problem, a bigger issue. In a way, but the
question was, do you think he was right to even ask? I get what you're saying. He caused the problem. He's frustrated. We get it. If by her saying that, it's justifiable. We've all agreed that it's a justifiable no.
Yeah.
Try again next year, nigga. hit me up in September and see if I think differently. But right now, no. Do you think he is even right to even ask that? Like, she moved out in February or March. Should you be asking for your kids in June for a holiday? Not to take them off their hands, but for a holiday.
Probably not. But he gonna ask anyway.
So you know what? And I feel okay. I'm not by that, Jake. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say, and I know a lot of dudes that ain't do it right. They gonna do this, but ladies, have that joker ask the kids themselves. Because real talk, for real, it's certain situations where these kids are way smarter than we give them credit for.
Most
and
definitely.
They know the situation. Even though we think we're hiding it from them and they can't see this and don't raise your voice around my kids. These kids know what's going on.
They know more than you think.
They're reading body language. They reading everything.
For real.
And they'll straight tell you because, hey, my nephew, my niece tell me all the time, like, yo, I won't have nothing to do with that dude, man. And that's their flesh and blood. And I'll be like, hey, but their situation is so to the extreme of what they saw when they were 4 and 5 years old, 6 years old, that now that they are teenagers, they don't want to have nothing to do with their cat. And he comes around and they whole demeanor change. So, no
doubt. All right, so we have come to the end of this week's episode of the Man Cave. Make sure you tune in and check out all the shows we have on Tone Deaf Radio. Just tune in to Spreaker.com, type in Tone Deaf Radio, and you will see the complete lineup. Because what goes down on TDR Live is only a fraction of what TDR has to offer. We have syndicated shows, live shows, original programs. We have a lot here at Tone Deaf Radio, and it's only going to get better. Make sure you check out this episode on Spreaker, SoundCloud, iTunes, iHeartRadio, as well as any other podcasting place that you listen to your shows at. With that being said, I'd like to thank the guys for tuning in tonight, and we're going to go ahead and close tonight's episode the only way we know how. To the end.